Dark reaction, carbon reduction and fixation cycle. So during the dark reaction of the photosynthesis, there is a reduction and fixation of carbon. In all oxygenic photosynthetic organisms, the CO2 reduction and fixation takes place through a carbon reduction cycle, which is known as Calvin cycle. Okay, so through Calvin cycle, the carbon dioxide is reduced and fixed. Now this Calvin cycle is also known as a reductive pentose phosphate cycle, and it is also known as C3 cycle. Now this Calvin cycle is a series of biochemical reactions in which there is a reduction of carbon dioxide into the 3-carbon sugar. Okay, this biochemical reactions reduces the carbon dioxide to 3-carbon sugar. So Calvin cycle is all about the reduction of carbon dioxide to 3-carbon sugars. Now the Calvin cycle occurs in stroma of the chloroplast in case of eukaryotic photosynthetic organisms, and in case of prokaryotic photosynthetic organisms, the Calvin cycle occurs in the cytosol. So for eukaryotes it is stroma, and for prokaryotes it is cytosol. The Calvin cycle was discovered by Melvin Calvin and Andy Benson at the University of California, and these two scientists won a Nobel Prize for this discovery of Calvin cycle. Now carbohydrate, which is produced directly from the Calvin cycle, is not glucose, but the carbohydrate which is produced directly from the Calvin cycle is a 3-carbon sugar, which is known as glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, now for producing one molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, we need to reduce 3 carbon dioxide molecules. The reactions of Calvin cycle can be divided into 3 phases. The first phase is carboxylation, second phase is reduction, and the third phase is regeneration. So these are the 3 phases of Calvin cycle. Now let's see about carboxylation. Now during this step, the carbon dioxide is incorporated into a 5-carbon compound which is known as ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. This ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate is abbreviated as RuBP. So carbon dioxide is just incorporated into RuBP. Now this incorporation of carbon dioxide into RuBP is catalyzed by an enzyme which is known as ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase or oxygenase. Now this enzyme ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase or oxygenase is abbreviated as RuBisco, RuBisco. So carbon dioxide is incorporated into RuBP, and this reaction is catalyzed by RuBisco. That is your carboxylation. When carbon dioxide gets incorporated into RuBP, this reaction produces a 6-carbon intermediate. Now this 6-carbon intermediate splits into 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate. Now this phosphoglycerate is also known as glycerate 3-phosphate. So carbon dioxide gets incorporated into RuBP. This produces a 6-carbon intermediate. This splits into 2 molecules of glycerate 3-phosphate. Okay, this is your carboxylation phase of Calvin cycle. When 3-carbon dioxide gets incorporated into Calvin cycle, it produces 6 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate. So one carbon dioxide molecule is responsible for production of 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate. RuBisco enzyme is known as a pacemaker enzyme of the Calvin cycle. RuBisco is a complex molecule. RuBisco is made up of 8 large subunits and 8 small subunits. Now the large subunit of the RuBisco enzyme is encoded by the chloroplast genome and the small subunit is encoded by the nuclear genome. RuBisco makes about 50% of the soluble protein in the chloroplast. 50% of the soluble protein in your chloroplast is RuBisco enzyme. And because of this RuBisco enzyme is most abundant protein in the chloroplast. RuBisco enzyme is also the most abundant protein on the planet Earth. RuBisco enzyme is actively regulated by carbon dioxide, oxygen, Mg2+, and pH. Okay, these are the factors that actively regulate the RuBisco enzyme. pH 8 is the optimum pH for the activity of RuBisco enzyme. Now this RuBisco enzyme has a large subunit. Now at the 201 position of this large subunit there is a lysine residue. Now this lysine group has an epsilon amino group. And when this epsilon amino group reacts with carbon dioxide, then carbamate is formed. This carbamate binds with Mg2+. And when all of this happens, because of this, RuBisco enzyme is active. If this things does not takes place, then RuBisco enzyme will not be active. So in an active RuBisco enzyme, the lysine residue has a epsilon amino group, and this amino group reacts with carbon dioxide to form carbamate, which is bound to Mg2+. These things exist in an active RuBisco enzyme. So let's look at the overview of this carboxylation step of Calvin cycle. So you start with ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Now this ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate get converted into Na-diolate intermediate. Now in this intermediate there is incorporation of CO2, and that gives result to this compound, which is known as 2-carboxy-3-keto-D-arabinitol 1,5-bisphosphate. Okay, this carbon in this compound came from the carbon dioxide. Hydrolysis of this compound gives rise to 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate. So this is how the carboxylation phase of the Calvin cycle looks like. The second phase of the Calvin cycle is reduction. In this cycle there is reduction of 3-phosphoglycerate, and the reduction of 3-phosphoglycerate gives rise to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, that's the reduction phase of Calvin cycle. First, 3-phosphoglycerate is phosphorylated by using an ATP molecule. The phosphorylation of 3-phosphoglycerate gives rise to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. The phosphorylation of this 3-phosphoglycerate into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is catalyzed by phosphoglycerate kinase. Okay, this enzyme converts 3-phosphoglycerate into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate by using an ATP. After that, 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is reduced to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and the reduction of the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is being catalyzed by this enzyme, that is NADP glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Okay, this enzyme reduces this to this. So 3-phosphoglycerate is first phosphorylated to form 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, and then this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is being reduced to form glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, this is what takes place in the reduction phase of the Calvin cycle. Now this reaction, that is phosphorylation of 3-phosphoglycerate into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, requires an ATP molecule. So 6 ATP molecules are being consumed in the reduction phase because of the fact that the phosphorylation of 6 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate will require 6 ATPs. Okay, 1 ATP per 3-phosphoglycerate. Now to convert 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, you require a NADPH molecule. Okay, 1 NADPH is required for this reaction to occur, and this is the reason why 6 NADPH molecules are consumed during the reduction phase. So we can say that 6 ATP molecules and 6 NADPH molecules are being consumed during reduction phase. Okay, while converting 6 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, 6 ATP molecules would be utilized, and while converting 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, 6 NADPH molecules will be consumed. So in reduction phase we start with 3-phosphoglycerate. Now this 3-phosphoglycerate is being phosphorylated with an ATP molecule, and it forms 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. After that, this is reduced with the help of NADPH, and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is being produced. So this is an overview of the reduction phase of the Calvin cycle. Let's talk about the third phase of the Calvin cycle, that is regeneration. The net product of the Calvin cycle is one molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, that is what your final product is. You take one molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate out of the Calvin cycle as a final product. So one molecule is going out of the Calvin cycle, so we are left with other 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now what happens to these 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate? These 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate are converted back to the 3 molecules of RuBP. So this is how the regeneration takes place. 2 carbon-3 molecules combine to give C6. Okay, this C3 and C3 is nothing but your glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and they combine to give you a 6 carbon compound. Now another C3 combines with this C6 and gives C5 plus C4. Now this C5 is your RuBP. Okay, that's the motto of regeneration. You have to regenerate this RuBP. So one RuBP is generated here. We want to generate 2 RuBPs again. Now the C4 from this reaction combines with C3 again, and it gives C7. Okay, and this C7 again combines with a C3 and it gives C5 plus C5. Okay, so here your RuBP are again getting generated. So this is the overall representation of regeneration cycle, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3 molecules of RuBP are being generated, and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 molecules of the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphates are being utilized. Okay, so 5C3 will give you 3C5. Okay, 5 into 3, 15 carbon is equal to 15 carbon. So that is how the regeneration phase of the Calvin cycle works. Now consider 3 molecules of RuBP. These 3 molecules of RuBP contain 15 carbons. Why? Because one RuBP contains 5 carbons, so 5 into 3, 15. Now when these 3 molecules of RuBP are carboxylated, cleaved, phosphorylated, reduced and dephosphorylated, this results in the formation of 6 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and this 6 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate contains 18 carbon. Okay, so you go from 15 carbon to 18 carbon, and from where those 3 extra carbon comes? It comes from the incorporation of 3 CO2 molecules. So this is how the Calvin cycle takes place. Okay, 15 carbon plus the 3 carbons from CO2 gives you 18 carbon. Now out of this 6 glyceraldehyde 3 phosphates, 1 glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is further used, and other 5 glyceraldehyde 3 phosphates are used in the regeneration of 3 RuBP molecules. So we had 18 carbons. From these 18 carbons, 3 carbons are further used for the production of carbohydrates. Okay, 18 minus 3 is 15. Okay, so we left with other 5, that is 15 carbons. Now these 15 carbons are used to make 3 RuBP, which is again contain 15 carbons. So this is how the overall process of the Calvin cycle takes place. Okay, you start with 15 carbon, then you incorporate 3 carbon dioxide in it, and you reach to 18 carbon. Now out of this 18 carbon, 3 carbon in the form of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate are further used, and the left 15 carbon in the form of 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphates are used to regenerate the 3 molecules of RuBP, which is again 15 carbon. So 15, 18, 15. This is how the process goes. Now this regeneration of RuBP is an active process. What does that mean? It means regeneration of RuBP utilizes ATP. To regenerate one RuBP, 1 ATP is being utilized. So we regenerate 3 molecules of the RuBP. Okay, it means that 3 ATP molecules are being utilized in the Calvin cycle to regenerate the 3 RuBP molecules. When in Calvin cycle, one molecule of the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is synthesized, then in the process 6 NADPH and 9 ATP molecules are being utilized. Okay, so the cost of one glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, the cost of this molecule is 6 NADPH and 9 ATP. So by this equation we can represent overall Calvin cycle. 3 carbon dioxide plus 6 NADPH plus 9 ATP will give one molecule of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, 6 NADP plus and 9 ADP. Okay, 3 carbon dioxide means 3 carbons give you a 3 carbon sugar, which is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. That is what the Calvin cycle is all about. So this is how the overview of Calvin cycle looks like. Okay, 3 carbon dioxide molecules combine with 3 RuBP and gives you 6 molecules of 3 phosphoglycerate. These are phosphorylated and 6 molecules of 1,3-bis phosphoglycerate is formed. Now these are reduced and then 6 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphates are formed, and out of this 6 molecule 1 molecule is released and used for further carbohydrate production. Okay, 6 molecule 1 molecule is exits the Calvin cycle, and we are remained with 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Now these are used to regenerate 3 RuBP again, and in this process 3 ATP is being utilized. Okay, now this phase is your carboxylation phase, this phase is reduction phase. In reduction phase your final product is formed, and this is your regeneration phase, in which these molecules are used to regenerate the original molecules with which we started the Calvin cycle. Now let's see what is the expenditure for synthesizing a glucose molecule. The thing is that 6 rounds of Calvin cycle are required for synthesizing one glucose molecule. Now the thing is that each round of the Calvin cycle, in each round 1 carbon dioxide is fixed. Okay, and glucose is made up of 6 carbon atoms, and that is the reason why 6 rounds of Calvin cycle are required for synthesizing one glucose molecule. Now what do you mean by 6 rounds of Calvin cycle? It means that 6 carbon dioxide molecules are going to be incorporated or fixed, and the incorporation of 6 carbon dioxide will result in the formation of 12 molecules of 3 phosphoglycerate. Now in further Calvin cycle, these 12 molecules of the 3 phosphoglycerate will be needed to phosphorylate and reduce. We need to phosphorylate them and reduce them, and for that 12 ATP molecules would be required, and 12 molecules of NADPH will also be required. Now out of this 12 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will result after phosphorylation and reduction of 12 molecules of 3 phosphoglycerate. Okay, 12 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will be produced. Now out of this 12, 10 molecules would be used to for regeneration purpose of RuBP, and out of this 12, 2 molecules will be used for the production of 1 molecule of glucose. Now in this regeneration process also additional 6 ATPs are being consumed. Okay, by utilizing this 10 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, there would be regeneration of 6 molecules of RuBP, and that is the reason why in this process 6 ATP would be used. So 6 ATP, 12 ATP here, and 12 NADPH here. So in Calvin cycle, the production of one glucose molecule requires the utilization of 12 NADPH and 18 ATP. Okay, the cost of producing one glucose is 12 NADPH and 18 ATP in Calvin cycle.